Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I'm excited for you to check out this week's SOW Classic, where we go back and we're going to give you this iconic full episode with none other than the guy himself, Brad Lea, the guy who's the host of Dropping Bombs podcast, the CEO of Lightspeed. And in this episode, we talk about sales negotiation tips. We also talk about how to raise your value. Like right now, you're doing something, you're not getting what you should be getting. This is the episode for you. We're going to talk about the true definition of success, the 3 R's, and why they're very important. You're going to want to write this down, but enough of me. I want to go right into the episode. Sit back and enjoy this week's SOW Classic with none other than Brad Lea. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready for this, excited about this as much as I am. This next guy we're bringing on the show, somebody I've been a fan of from afar, and he's finally on the show, Mr. Dropping Bomb podcast himself, Brad Lea. What's up, fam?
What's going on, Shawn?
Man, listen, I'm excited for this one, man, because people see you dropping bombs on a daily. They see what you're doing with Lightspeed, but our audience loves diving into those show notes, trying to figure out exactly who's the person on the opposite side of the mic. Take us back to like the young Brad Lea. I want to know what the vibe was like. What were you doing?
The young Brad Lea, man, I don't know if you want to know that story. Depends on what term. There's terms in my life, right? So I would say growing up till about 14 is one, and then from 14 to I'd say 30 is another, and then from 30 to now is another. Which frame you want to go with?
Yo, that's crazy you said that, because no one's ever put it in that perspective. And I like the fact you started at 14, because 14, my life got crazy. And we'll talk about that. Let's talk about 14 though. I think that's a sweet spot, right? Everyone has a childhood and stuff like that. But at 14, I feel like that's when you start discovering certain things about you. So let's break that down.
Well, at 14, man, I was a little bit of a hustler. I was, running around thinking I was cool, going to different high schools, actually, no, that's about 16, but from 14 to, 30, I would say I was just, out there hustling, right? I came from a, blue collar family in a small town, and then moved to a little bit bigger of a town, and then ultimately found my game in sales, and then just mastered that and made, decent money growing through the ranks. Went to LA to be a movie star. I mean, I did so much crap. I lived a whole lifetime from 14 to 30.
Oh man, listen. When I was 14, maybe we can relate on this. I like the fact you said hustler. Bro, my brother went off to college and he became a big nightlife party promoter. I'm talking about partying with huge artists, you name them, Rick Ross, Young Jeezy. So at 14, I was in the club. I was standing on couches. I was learning how to network and market. And at 14, after watching so many of these events, I threw my own graduation party for 18-year-olds. So I can only imagine what you were hustling at 14. But at 14, I was doing graduation parties. And I remember
I wasn't doing it like that, dog. You were out hustling me for sure.
But I mean, listen, though, it's so crazy that you mentioned that age, because I think that's when people start dipping and dabbing in some of the things, right? As a young Brad Lea, what were you hustling at from that 14 to like 18 range? What were you doing?
Well, dude, at 14, literally, man, I was, hate to say it, but basically walking around a mall looking for receipts on the floor and then picking up those receipts and turning them into money. Let's just say that. So it wasn't always, the best of the best in my intentions. I was a little bit of a hoodlum at 14, so I was just looking, just ways to make money. I was kind of out on my own. I was raised where, kids should be seen but not heard type of thing.
Yeah.
Not much supervision, not much parental oversight. And so again, I definitely wasn't in clubs that early. I was running around with a bunch of punk kids looking for ways to make money, scamming or some stupid ass stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I think back and I'm like, when they say people don't change, people do change. Okay. If you believe people don't change, you need to freaking pay attention, because you and others can change. And I suggest that if you're not where you want to be in life, that you do change. Most people are afraid to change for some reason.
Let's tap into that, right? Those people that are afraid to change, what do you think is holding them back?
Well, I think change is uncomfortable, and there's an unknown. And so anytime there's an unknown, people, fall on the side of caution. They don't realize that taking a chance is what makes the difference, right? If you never, excuse me, if you never take a chance, dude, you're going to work for someone who did. Point blank. So a lot of people won't take that chance because they're afraid of what might happen. That happened to me at 30, when I started my company, Lightspeed. Everybody was more worried about, well, what if you fail, and what if this, and what if that? And I was thinking the opposite. I was like, what if I'm just like staying the same my whole life? What if I don't end up a multimillionaire, freaking billionaire, Forbes magazine cover type dude? Like, what if I'm running a car dealership my whole life, and then I get old running a car dealership? Like, who would want to do that? Now, again, there's a lot of people that make a lot of money running car dealerships, and they're happy with that. I wasn't, though. But the catalyst for me, Shawn, was I helped this dude in the back. For the first time in my life, I literally had no intention other than helping somebody else, right? Prior to that, dude, it was always about me. At the end of the day, man, it was about me. How could I get paid? How could I get rich? I didn't really factor in you. I factored in me, right? And that was the leader. So this is the first time I said, I'm going to factor somebody else in. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't read a book and be like, oh, I'm supposed to help others, so let me just try that. No, I just did it because this dude was cool. And I'm like, let me show you how to make some money. So I bring him up front, take him from minimum wage to like, 15 grand a month. His whole life changes. His wife pops in happier. His kids roll in happier. Everything's better with more money. I mean, I always say, like, everything's funny with a pocket full of money. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I gave him a little education over a 90-day period and kind of showed him how to make real money selling. And I didn't do it for any other reason than to help the dude. And it was freaking a cool feeling and experience to watch how it transformed an entire family. And then I thought to myself, man, I've got the power and ability to do that for people. I feel obligated to do that for people. You know what I mean? I can always come back and freaking run a car dealership. I need to go like start a company where I can help people do that. So that's what I did. I quit my job and started a company to help people make more money in sales. Cause I'm like, I guess a good educator, I make things seem simple and easy, and I break things down with simplicity. I think that's why, a lot of people are resonating with my Instagram and my content. Dropping bombs, you've heard it, bro. Yeah. It's not rocket science. We're just talking about problems, situations, challenges, and I'm not afraid to ask real questions. And my guests, for some reason, come out with real answers. I've had all my guests say stuff like, man, I've never had an interview like that. Normally, they're just asking me all kinds of the same questions. So to take that same approach, not to run this answer on, but to take that same approach to everything is kind of my philosophy, from, trying to help people make more money to making all the adjustments along the way to end up as a software CEO. That's crazy. But here I am, 8 figures, several companies later. I've learned a lot. So that's the 30 to now range. So 14, I was a punk kid running around with a little hoodlum crowd. I ended up, getting a car. Obviously, I turned 16, got my driver's license. That was awesome. Cruised the gut, chased women. And then at about, 17 years old, I kept being pressured to get this real job I kept hearing about. Everybody said, go get a real job, Brad. It's time to get a real job. So I'm like, well, what is a real job? And basically what they meant by a real job is like, you work for a company, 40 hours a week, you put in your hours and you freaking earn your, benefits and all that crap. So I get the job with this Forest Service, end up thinking I'm going to fight forest fires. I go up to the mountains, basically bust my ass, get poison oak. It's miserable, this hard work. Thought I was going to be something special when I wasn't. I was just like low on the totem pole dipshit running around squirting on stumps to keep them from starting a fire again. And realized, like, dude, hard work isn't it. My dad was a hard worker. Like if hard work was all it took, bro, everybody would be rich in the military. Everybody would be rich, that digs ditches. right? That's hard work. Anyway, that's hard work to me. But so that's when I realized I don't really like this hard labor shit. So I decided, man, I got to figure out something else. So I open up a newspaper and there's an ad for car sales. So I roll into the dealership, basically bullshit my way into getting the job. Next thing I know, I'm sitting there in cologne with a freaking, double breasted suit and a freaking gold pen. And I got all these cars to choose from and I get one to drive. And like, it's just night and day difference. And now all I'm doing is greeting customers as they walk in the door, showing them my lovely merchandise and making 5 times the money as anyone in my family. So that was my first job selling cars. And then obviously, I've sold art, RVs, I've sold everything from freaking weed to freaking Bitcoin. So at the end of the day, I mastered the art of sales. I literally, I would say, am probably the best closer on the planet. I won't make a claim on Mars because I don't know who's there, but here on Earth, I'm probably one of the best on Earth for sales and closing, getting people to buy. So with that knowledge, I feel obligated to get it out to the world. So because of my software, I started that company and then realized that there's a lot of other experts out there. So I started closing Grant Cardone and Damon John and Tony Robbins and all these, subject matter experts where everyone wanted their content, but not necessarily mine. I'm like, well, I'm not going to get their business unless I let those guys use my software and help them get their business, which is what I did. Collaborate instead of compete. And ultimately that turned into, where we are today. So you got me going back and forth through the year.
I like this though.
The year ages, but from 17 to 30, man, I was just selling, jumping from job to job, selling, mastering the skill, being a jack off, closing deals, making cash, freaking chasing women. I have 6 kids from 4 women, but I can explain. So I just lived a lot of lives, bro. I mean, I learned everything the hard way. That's the book I got coming out. It's called The Hard Way.
When's the book dropping?
Dude, I gotta hurry up and drop that bitch because I started pre-selling it a year ago, and people are starting to say, "Damn, dude, where's my book?" And I'm like, it's damn. I didn't think it'd be this long. But dude, I'm writing it myself. That's what the people don't understand. Everyone says, just get a ghostwriter. I don't want a ghostwriter. If I have a ghostwriter, then I didn't write the book, did I?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, so I'm putting all the lessons down. But to answer your question, man, I would say within 30 days, it will be finished and off to the printer. And then they take usually two weeks to a month. So I'd say in the next 45 days, that book should be on people's shelves or in their hands.
That's dope. Listen, bro, I want to ask you this because as you were talking, I'm thinking, right? And I'm somebody that a lot of times I channel rap lyrics to motivate me. And I remember one rap lyric from Big Shawn. And Big Shawn said, I can't spend my whole life looking at the same ceiling fans when I feel like I ain't got a ceiling, man. If I ain't special, why do I feel it then? And the reason why I say that is because that quote makes me think about, let's go to a younger Brad who's doing all of these sales in the car business. That's making 5 times more than anybody in his family. How did you know at that moment that, what? I can do this on my own. I can create something like Lightspeed. Like, what made you say, the power and the true talent was you? Because I know people in the audience right now, they're excelling in jobs, but they want to know, can they do more?
Well, obviously they can. Anyone can do anything. I dropped out of high school in 11th grade. No degree, I learned from the street and, just by doing. So anyone can do it. When you look back, that's pretty evident that and I think anyone that ever becomes quote unquote successful, will tell you the same thing. Anyone literally can do it. The question is who's going to do what it takes. A lot of people, they make the claim, but they don't really want to do the work. They don't really want to get up early. They don't really want to do the sit-ups. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or like I say, they don't want to pass on the ranch. One time I got in pretty good shape, but I took off my shirt and, I had like a 4-pack. The bottom wasn't fully coming in. And someone said, dude, I can help you get rid of that. You got to freaking give up the ranch dressing and the bump up. And I started laughing like, why ranch dressing? And he's like, it's just the little things that people won't cut out. Like you will have a salad, but now you smother it in ranch. Well, the ranch is right there on your waist. So I would say like, look, if I got to pass on the ranch, I don't necessarily want it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, what is success anyway, Shawn? Success is one's own opinion. And the
Yep.
problem is everyone wants to base success off what the society says it is. And that's why when people get rich, they still feel empty because they didn't assess what they believe success is and what they really want out of life. They just heard what everyone else thinks success looks like. You know, these Lambos and Ferraris, like I could buy Lambos, Ferraris, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, you know, why? What am I going to do? How many cars can I drive? Like like I have a Ford Raptor and then I buy my wife whatever she wants and now we've both got a car. Do I need more than that? Now, that's my opinion, but am I mad at like my boy Andy Frisella who's got like freaking like $1 billion car collection? Hell no, dude. I'm envious. I wish I had that. But dude, I don't have the garages he has. I don't have like I'm not him. So most people try to compare themselves instead of preparing themselves. Nice little rhyme for you. Don't
That was
compare
dope.
yourself. Prepare yourself. So what was your question, dude?
I mean, you're answering it. I mean, like, but here's the thing. Like, back when you were making 5 times more than anybody in your family, like, what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna bet on myself, create Lightspeed, and really do something different? A lot of times, people get into these jobs, fam, and they get stuck in them. Like, what made you say, you know
Yeah,
what? Yeah.
I didn't do it back then, dude. It took me, I mean, I didn't know anything back then. Back then I was just trying to get paid. I was out for myself. I was closing deals and freaking spinning wheels. Like I was going nowhere, but I was going comfortably, meaning I was making money, but dude, I was blowing it just as fast as I was making it. Like, dude, I was just broke at another level. Like,
Mm.
dude, there's people broke when they're making 2,100 a month and there's people broke making 21,000 a month. And
Mm.
if you're broke, you're broke, you're broke. And if you're broke, it's because you're broke. You don't have the right information or you're doing it wrong. If you're making 21 grand a month, man, honestly, dude, you should be living like you're only making 5. And then you take that difference and you invest that shit for the next 10, 20 years. And by the time you're 30, 40 years old, when most people are just average, you're freaking solid, dude. You got an 800 credit score. You got freaking multiple rental properties. You've got freaking passive income coming in, whether you work or not. You've understood a lot of things. You've got a serious foundation going for you. Now, you wouldn't have looked as cool that whole time
Uh-huh.
because you wouldn't have been driving the big badass car. Why? Because the badass car, if you take that money and go invest it properly in 5 to 10 years, whatever you did instead of the badass car will produce as many badass cars as you want.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like the study they did with the kids with the marshmallows. They gave a kid a marshmallow and said, "Hey, if you don't eat that, I'll give you another one in a couple hours. If
Yeah, I
you eat
remember
it,
that one.
you don't get another one." So the kids that ate the marshmallow don't go anywhere in life. And the kid that waits, then they get 2 marshmallows. They go somewhere in life. That's called delayed gratification. So if I were coaching a young man or a young woman right now, I would be telling them point blank, period. Now, it's not going to be as fun, right? I did it the fun way, dude. I was freaking popping bottles and driving the fancies and living like a freaking champ. And guess what? It still worked out. So guess what? Anything's possible for anyone, man. You can
Mm.
go do it your own way. You don't have to listen to us. When I say us, people that have already achieved what it is most people think they want, which is, success, money, etc.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, that's not how you do it. You got to figure out what success looks like to you. And then you have to figure out, how do I get there now? And you start asking that question. And then the universe or God or whomever you hold in a higher power, I think starts moving things around for you to find your way where you're going, because that's where you intend to go. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with
So,
so many of the things you've done though, Brad, like how are you defining success now for yourself?
dude, I define success personally where I have so much abundance in all areas that I can give freely to others and not run out for myself. In other words, I have so much, my cup overfloweth, so I help fill up other cups. Like I want my cup to overfloweth so much. Instead of getting another cup, I'll just let it overflow into others. You know what I'm saying? That's my idea of success. to just have so much you can give all day long and never run out.
I like that. That's powerful. And you know what? I'm thinking right now the audience is listening, and they'll be like so mad if I didn't ask this question. We got Brad Lea, who's already said, guys. I want to make sure you pay attention. He's the best closer on the planet. He would have counted Mars too, but he just doesn't know who's on that planet. With that being said, like, what are some of your number one? Like, what are some strategies, some tips you can give the audience right now, especially our entrepreneurs that are trying to close more deals?
Well, dude, I mean, you can't do it on a podcast. Training is something you do, not something you did. So I can expose you to some ideas and some information. But true training, bro, it takes good content, repetition, practice, and accountability. And we're not going to accomplish that on this podcast. However, I will give you some tips and tricks that you can ponder, chew on a little bit. Number one, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. Okay. Write that down and get a tattoo if you need to. Okay. There is no secret, folks. Let's uncomplicate matters. Okay. The more hands you shake, the more money you make, period. It's a fact. So if you know that to be true, and it is, why are you going to bed at night without reaching out to 10 more people? Why aren't you introducing yourself to new people every single day intentionally? Most people don't do it, Shawn. And now with Clubhouse and Facebook and Instagram, man, you can reach out digitally and socially, and you can make comments on people's posts, and like literally you can become this gregarious individual and just introduce yourself to a million people where everybody knows who you are. Well, if everybody knows who you are, and by the way, I'm assuming you have ethics and integrity and you're doing all the right shit. If everyone knows who you are in much better position than if nobody knows who you are. Agree or disagree?
Facts, I agree.
Okay, so then the more hands you shake, the more money you make. That's number one. If you're an entrepreneur, dudes, get out there and shake some hands, man. Be seen, get known, introduce yourself. And by the way, once you realize, okay, I'm going to start having to introduce myself a lot. Well, then why don't you get good at the introduction? See what I'm saying? That's called preparation, which is the first step in sales. Sales is just like fighting in the MMA, right? Mm-hmm. You get into a ring with someone that's highly trained in MMA and you just started, you're going to get your ass kicked. You're just going to get your ass kicked. Now, could you possibly get a lucky shot and knock someone out? Yeah, but dude, that's called hope. That's not a strategy. Okay, so what you need to do is like, hey, if I'm going to get in the ring and fight this dude, what do I need to do? Well, I better go train. I better go prepare, right? So that's step one in the sales process is preparation. And once people realize sales is just a skill set that everyone should possess, is just like the MMA where you can train and become proficient to where now you are good at it. And it doesn't matter who you are, introverted, extroverted. It doesn't matter. Like anyone can do it. You just have to realize there are steps. And now you get so good at those steps, you can bounce back and forth like a master at it. And boom, you're closing deals, persuading people, making friends, building relationships, all kinds of things. Building a personal brand. That's another thing. If I were you, not you, but I'm talking to your listener. If I were you, I'd be building a personal brand because you have one, whether you build on it or not. In other words, you all have a personal brand. The question is what is it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it well known? Is it unknown? You have one. If I go to your Instagram account and you got 2 pictures of you sitting there with your dog, dude, that is your personal brand. It's just poorly executed. That's Thanks. All. So at the end of the day, if you're an entrepreneur or in sales, dude, build your personal brand. But just to give you tips, step one, preparation. Most people say this first step's the introduction. It's not. It's the preparation. Before you introduce yourself to anybody, introduce yourself to yourself. Okay, get yourself to like you. You know what I'm saying? Do you like yourself? Like relationships are the new economy, bro. So the first relationship anyone has to think about is the one with themselves. If they don't have a good relationship with themselves, I wouldn't necessarily, go out and start making introductions with others. You don't even like yourself. How are other people going to like you? So you work on yourself real quick. It's real simple to do. Now you get to know yourself. You like yourself, know thyself. Key word, write that down. Know thyself. Trust me. Follow that your whole life. Figure out what that means. And then know thyself. So once you're there, boom, more hands shake, more money you make, man. Go out there and introduce yourself. You do it with preparation. Then the preparation leads to the introduction, basically. The introduction leads to then something called gather intel. Now, gather intel could also be called fact finding or whatever you want to call your little step there. But the step, especially in sales, preparation, introduction, gather intel. Well, why do you want to gather intel? Well, because that customer can tell you every single thing you need to know to sell them a product or service instantly. Like, in other words, they're the ones that have the information you need. Do you understand that? Like, dude, if I'm going to sell you something, you got the information I need, dog. So why don't people talk to people? And not only that, like most people, if I'm going to try and get on a call and sell you something, my first goal is to sell you something. You should make your first goal to build a relationship. Right. I'll sell you something later if I can successfully build a relationship, right?
Absolutely. It comes down to that.
Yeah. So most people's intention is to sell something. I'm going to get you on the sales call. I'm going to try to sell you my thing. Well, that motivation dictates, I think, the authenticity and the whole vibe. So if I say, hey, I don't want to sell you anything, I'm going to get on the call to see who you are, build a little relationship. Maybe I can help you. Damn, I hope I can. But dude, who are you? What you need, dog? What are you doing? You know, that authentic build a relationship intention over selling you something is like a little trick that literally causes people to come across way more authentic and less salesy. So the gather intel phase is ultimately just a conversation, man, where you're trying to ask intelligent questions and then listen for the answers, because the answers will tell you how to do the next step, which is build value in your product or service. Because if you want to make an exchange, dude, all you have to do is raise the value of your product or service above the value of their money.
Oh, man, you're taking them to class right now.
Well, that's all you have to do, bro. So like for example, if I want to sell you this cup, dude, all I got to do is make this cup more valuable than you value your money.
And there's many ways you can do that, right? Talking about.
Well, I'm not gonna do it without getting information from you.
Ooh, that's the thing. So many people hop on these sales calls. They hop on, all these different things, and they just start pouring things at you. Like the real gathering of intel. You're hearing it from Brad Lea, who's the number one at this. He's proclaimed it. He would proclaim it on Mars if he knew it was there.
I'll defend it. I'll prove it.
I like this. And guys, that's the number one way. Get the person you're talking to tell you what they need. That's
Shawn. people always ask me, because they know me and Grant are boys. They say, "Who's better, you or Grant?"
Yeah, and Grant's been on the show. He's been on the show.
Yeah, but you know what I say? I say, well, I don't know. I mean, it depends on who you're asking, but at the end of the day, like, he sends me a check every month.
Oh, we're gonna drop a bomb for that.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, who sold who? Okay, I sold him. I closed him. I like to say, I'm the dude that closes the dude that teaches you to close.
Oh, man.
So at the end of the day, I'm just saying, I'll prove it. I'll defend it.
Oh, that's tough, man. That's tough. We might turn that part to a clip. My man said, "Who sold who?" that's the truth, man. I like this so much.
I don't exceed expectations. I exceed imaginations.
Oh, man, you coming through with the bars. I like this. Listen.
I got that from my boy Mo earlier.
Yeah, what do you know? Off top, like, what do you think
dude,
about?
I like, hey, I like what you gave me, dude. Or who said this? If I ain't special, then why do I feel it?
That's Big Shawn, man. He said, I can't spend my whole life. If I ain't special, why I feel it then? Listen, I heard that record right there. It's called Bigger Than Me. You got to listen to it. Big Shawn, Bigger Than Me. It's just crazy. I'm going to go listen to
it right after this freaking call. Bigger Than Me.
Big Shawn, Bigger Than Me. You're going to be like, yo, you're going to text me and be like, listen, yo, that was tough.
All right, dude. Listen, have you heard NF?
Nah, NF who? What? Nah.
Dude, just go Google NF, dude. Listen, you want to hear a little something?
Yeah, let me see. I can write this
down. All right, dude. Listen. I won't play the whole thing, or it'll take the whole. Dude, trust me. It's called Remember This by NF. Go get it. The lyrics all the way through are ridiculous, dude. And here's the crazy part.
What's the crazy part? I'm writing this down.
Not one cuss word in any of his lyrics and any of his songs, and all of his songs are basically for entrepreneur type things. But what's crazy, dude, and I didn't know this when I first discovered it, that dude's a Christian rapper.
Oh, that's crazy.
So you can literally pump that stuff at masterminds, demos in front of kids, at high schools, and it's all empowering, unbelievable lyrics.
Man, you're gonna make me, next time I do a speaking gig, you're gonna make me run to the stage with one of them tracks. I like this, bro. I like this. This is tough. I've never had anybody.
I don't even though they're killer lyrics, it takes a while sometimes to hear it all. So I don't use it as a walkout, only because it takes a while. Like they're deep lyrics.
What's your walkout music? When Brad hits the stage? What's his walkout music?
I do this right here. Listen.
Listen up or run.
Back on my bullshit. Back to back on my bullshit.
Fab, Loso.
I'm going back to back on my bullshit. Do it one time, they gon' think it's luck. Gotta hit it with the repeat. 2 times, they gon' still doubt. Hey, now I got a 3-peat.
Anyway, that's the old walkout.
Man, you coming out with Loso? That's crazy. We gotta get
That's
Loso.
fabulous. That's fabulous.
Yeah, Fab. We gotta get Fab. We call him Loso on the mixtapes. We gotta get Fab on dropping bombs.
Oh, Loso on the mixtape. See?
Yeah, Loso. He got this mixtape called.
That shows that I don't know Fabulous very much. What's Loso for?
He got this. He got this mixtape he got called Loso's Way 3. It's like a little.
See, dude, you got to text me a bunch of lyrics that I'm not aware of, because again, bigger than me. I didn't hear that song, but I love If I Ain't Special, Then Why Do I Feel It?
Man, I gotta put you on this other one too, man. This guy named Simba. He got this song called Big Homie. Oh man, he said I done got rich and I done turned into my big homie. You gotta hear it, bro. Like it's crazy.
What's the
it's called Big Homie. Listen, before I got you up here today, like Big Homie featuring 2 Chainz. It's by Simba, SYMBA. Yeah, the chorus is all you need. I done got rich and I done turned to, huh?
Hey, I think I blew a deal once with 2 Chainz.
Oh man, you blew a deal with 2 Chainz?
Because I thought it was a prank call. Someone called, said it's 2 Chainz. They want to do a VT system on some things. So I'm on the call and I say, it's 2 Chainz. And then I said, dude, we can do this. He makes so much money, he can afford more than 2 Chainz. We can call him 4 Chainz. And I thought that would be funny. Didn't hear a snicker, didn't hear a reply, didn't hear nothing. And I'm like, well, I'm just joking. And then they're like, yeah, well, all right, cool. Anything else? I'm like, nope, that's it. And they're like, okay, we'll reach out. And I never heard from him again.
Man, his DJ Eastside is the homie, man. He's from 336. He's from the same areas I'm from. So that's crazy.
Well, 2 Chainz sounds way better than freaking Titty Boy.
Titty Boy wasn't marketable, but Titty Boy music was tough.
Did you ever have Rocket on this deal?
You said what now?
Charlie Rocket. You ever have him on your podcast?
Yeah. Me and Charlie been in talks a couple times. We've been talking. It's funny you mention that. We've been in talks a couple of times on the phone.
You want me to tell him to get on here?
Yeah, let's make it happen. We went back and forth.
He used to manage 2 Chainz.
Yeah, I know. He's also behind like that snow shirt. That I think it was the Christmas type shirt that actually went viral too.
Well, dude, Charlie is a cool dude.
Yeah, man, I like his vibe, man, and I like the fact that he's about empowering positivity, doing that whole dream bus thing. Listen, that's just dope beyond measure. Listen, bro, bro, I gotta ask you the question. This is the final question that is so important. I've asked everybody that's been on the show this question. I asked your guy Grant Cardone, who sends you the checks in person. I asked him in Miami. I asked so many people this, and that is, if you were that person that is listening to the podcast right now, whether you dropped out of school like Brad, or whether you got that degree in hand, or perhaps you ain't got no idea what you're doing, asking yourself the question of the show: school's over, now what? Right? What advice would Brad Lea give?
Now get to work. Okay, school's over. Now what? Now get going. Okay, start using all that information you didn't get and start applying it.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Simple as that.
What kind of school are you talking about? Like, to me, school is high school. If you finished high school, now what? Get to work. If it's already, I already went to college. Shit. Well, dude, listen. People ask me all the time if I think they should drop out of school, and the answer is my answer is no. Do you think my people should go to college? I'm like, yes, I think you guys should go to college. Do you think this college and education, I think, is smart, especially if you're already in it? You got to stick with what you started and finish it. But I also think going to college is where you're going to meet relationships. Remember, relationships is the new currency, man. It's the new economy. So you go to college so you can hang around and meet people and learn and build relationships and network. And some of your high school or your college buddies might end up being your business partners. You might meet your wife or husband there. Like, I recommend college. But when that shit's over, let's go.
Let's get
okay?
it.
You already wasted 4 years or 8 years at college.
Yeah.
So guess what? It's time to go. Well, if you've been with the mindset the whole time, school is an opportunity to meet people. Well, dude, you just spent 4 years building relationships and building foundations and networks. See what I'm saying? And they're all congregated at school. School's a great place to freaking build a foundational network, right? There's a lot of people that have, met their business partners in college, right?
Facts.
So soon as it's over, and that's the question, now what? Freaking get to work. Now let's go. Let's start leveraging those relationships and trying to figure out how to get where you want to go. So let me just break it down like this. If you don't know where you're going, folks, you're not going to get there. I say all you need to be successful in this world, Shawn, is the 3 R's. Ready?
Ready.
This is only the second time I've revealed them.
Okay, let's get it.
I just revealed them on my Instagram. Got hundreds of comments, which is based on these 3 R's. Number 1, you're going to need relationships. 100%. Nobody's ever got rich by themselves, I guarantee you. So relationship with yourself, relationship, family relationship, spiritual relationship, business relationships. You need relationships. So get on that, right? More hands shake, more money you make. College was just a start. Now get to building relationships. Second thing you're going to need is resources, bro. Well, where the person with the most resources is the winner, right? If you have more resources than me, dude, who's going to do better, me or you?
You already know. I got more. I'm already winning.
Okay, so it's just resources. Well, what are resources? Resources are connections. Resources is abilities. Resources are skill sets. Resources is money and assets and connections. You know what I'm saying? So leverage the resources. But in order to leverage the resources, dude, you have to see them as resources and you have to take inventory. Then the last thing, dude, is roadmap. Most people don't have a roadmap. Like, what is it you're trying to do? Where are you trying to go? What is arrival and what does it look like? Dude, imagine if I told you to go into a room full of 1,000 people and find someone, but I refuse to tell you what they look like. How hard would it be to find that person?
Hey man, I'll be done gave up. I said, man, you tripping. It's impossible.
Yeah, so dude, that's what people are doing right now. Go ask the next 5 guests you have, hey, tell me what your idea of success is. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to roll their eyes up and think because they haven't really defined it. So if you really want that success, folks, does it make sense to know what it looks like? Yes or no?
You got to.
So like,
yeah,
that's the roadmap. So guys, if you're going to start a trip, do you want to start the trip with a roadmap or without a roadmap?
Love this convo. You got to have a roadmap when you tripping, man. You're going to be
okay. Good. So go get some solace. Go get some silence. Go shut the door. Go look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself some serious ass questions. Don't worry about what your friends think, what your parents think. Worry about what you think. Because let me tell you something, dude. You go do it for your friends and your parents and everybody else. You're going to get there and you're not going to feel any better. You're going to go, holy shit, man. I thought all this, they're right. Money isn't everything. Well, no, dude, you didn't arrive at your destination. You arrived at what they thought success should be. And you're not going to feel that fulfillment. But if you Start with your own roadmap and you silence everybody else. And you're like, listen, I got to figure out what I'm looking for. I'm talking about the kind of clarity that you can describe the freaking house down to the freaking furniture. Your cars, what's the license plate say? Like, dude, what's the VIN number on that bitch? And more importantly, what does it feel like to have all that? And when you bring that emotion and you sit there and visualize on a daily basis, that kind of clarity with that kind of emotion attached, dude, I'm telling you right now, it's a matter of time before you get it all. But you have to actually visualize that kind of freaking detail. So that's your roadmap. Stop. Make a roadmap. Once you make a roadmap, realize that your relationships, okay, the relationships and your resources is what you have at your disposal to go to travel down that roadmap. Now, every single day, Shawn, you're going to ask yourself a question. Does this decision move me towards or away? Like, a lot of people want to complicate it. Dude, it boils down to choices every day. The choices you make determine the road you take. Every day is a series of choices. Are you making the good ones or bad ones? Well, most people don't even realize that it's that simple because those little choices equal the big ones. There are no big decisions to make in life if you're making the small ones consistently well, right? Every day, should I get up or should I sleep in? Should I work out or should I not work out? Should I smoke this or not smoke that? Should I get that phone number or not get that phone number? Should I go with these people or not go with these people? There's people sitting in prison because their buddies talked them into going with them. Yes or no?
Facts. It's all facts. They got to talk.
Dude, they should have said no. And what's crazy is, you should have said no, fam. You should have said no, but you said yes. Why did you say yes? You said yes because you were worried about what your fam thought instead of what you thought. And the reason why is because you don't value you. You don't freaking honor you. You honor everybody else because that's what we've been taught to do. Well, guess what? It's the wrong way to do it. You value yourself. You honor yourself and you make decisions based on that. And guess what? You're going to end up all right. Now, the question is maybe you can't because you don't love yourself. You don't value yourself. Somebody done sold you on you ain't worth it. Well, guess what? I can help you repair that. Who wants help repairing that? Do we got enough time?
Yeah, a lot of people want help repairing that.
Well, we got enough time right now, or you want to save it for the next episode?
Oh, yeah, we can keep it going, bro. We good.
I'll tell people how to resolve that situation right now.
Break it down. Give it to them in a format that because like this is one of those interviews, bro, that I'm actually talking to right now where I would want to grab a pen. Like, why are you talking? So I know the audience, whether they're watching this on YouTube or whether they're listening to this as they're driving in their car, they want to know the steps. So let's hear it.
All right. Well, there's 6 steps. Number one, you have to forgive yourself for all your past bullshit. All the procrastination and lies and cheating you've done to yourself and others. Boom! Just forgive yourself, man. Big deal. Everyone's done it. Nobody's perfect. Okay. You ain't perfect either. Okay. Everybody screws up, but you can be forgiven. Can you not?
Facts. You can.
Didn't our man Joshua die? You are forgiven. Okay. So guess what? Forgive yourself, man. Everybody deserves a second chance. That's step 1. Forgive yourself. Okay. Step 2, commit to do what you say you're going to do. From this day forward, do what the fuck you say you're going to do. End of story. And by the way, when someone's like, no. You're feeling anxiety because you don't do what you say you'll do. Now, once you make the decision, I will do what I say I will do. Just if you get anxiety, stop agreeing to everything. Stop running your mouth. Shut up. Agree to shit that you agree to. If you agree to it, you're going to do it. Understand? Commit. That's step 2. Step 3, now you got to rack up the wins. You got to rack up the wins, dude, because you can't erase the losses, but you can replace the losses. And you replace them with wins. Make sense? You got to rack up those wins. So how do you rack up wins? Well, how about every day, instead of having 10X goals, have a freaking 1X goal? Can you eat 1 less French fry, Chief? Huh? Can you make 1 more phone call, fam? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you do just little things, dude? And so guess what? You set 10 little things every day. Boom, boom. And now you're winning. You're winning. You win. And by the way, your mind doesn't know the difference between a big win and a little win, but it does know the difference between a win and a loss. So guess what? Just rack up the wins. That's step 3, dude. Rack up those wins. Set 10 small goals every single day that you hit no matter what. You better not go to bed unless you've done them too. Because again, this can backfire, dude, and it'll chip away at your self-esteem. It'll make you feel worse than you do currently.
Yeah, because you're not committed.
And you will not be successful if you don't have a self-image that allows it. You guys understand that? Okay, you will not outperform your own self-image.
You might have to say that again, because I think someone's like, "Hold on, is Brad talking to me now?"
I'm talking to everybody. You will not outperform your own self-image. So at the end of the day, this starts to repair that self-image and grow that self-image and repair the self-esteem and the convincing you've had over your life that you're not necessarily worth anything. And what's crazy, dude, is a lot of people are like, dude, I don't think that. Well, dude, it's subconscious, meaning you're unaware of it. It's a subconscious thought that you're not worth more money. You're not worth a better car. You're not worth a better relationship. You're not worth respect. And you just accept it and tolerate it from everybody around you, because what are you going to do? You know, that's your life. So when you want to solve that, you forgive yourself, you commit to do what you say you're going to do, you start racking up the wins. And then over time, 60, 90 days, you'll start feeling a little bit better about yourself. You'll start feeling like you deserve more. You'll start to actually get a little bit pissed feeling like, man, I deserve better than I got. Well, dude, that's when you know it's starting to work. So you start actually feeling like you deserve more than you have, which you do. And then what happens is people start talking smack. So that's step 4. You weed out the idiots. Anybody that's not supportive is not your friend. You understand what I'm saying? If they're not supportive of you, dude, they're not your friend. You know what a friend does? A friend supports you, encourages you, helps you. If I called you and I said, "What's up, Shawn?" You'd be like, "Dude, I'm about ready to start this company." And I'm like, "Dude, in this economy, bro, like, dude, if I were you, man, if I were you, dog, I'd take that money and I'd get that girl out, whatever." Like, I'm not supporting you. Well, dude, you get rid of those idiots. You weed out the idiots. Then step 5, you freaking visualize and get that clarity. Okay. And then step 6, you seek knowledge on a daily basis, which means you pick up a book. And I ain't talking Moby Dick. I'm talking freaking, the 4 agreements. I'm talking Think and Grow Rich. I'm talking How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm talking The Richest Man in Babylon. I'm talking about, Outwitting the Devil. I'm talking about 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm talking about 48 Laws of Power. I'm talking about freaking Cybernetics. I'm talking about, shall I go on? Like, pick up a damn book and seek new information daily. Okay. And here's why. If you want something different, you have to do something different. Agree or disagree?
100%. You got to switch it up.
Okay, so then again, let's uncomplicate it. This is what it boils down to. If you want to change what you're getting, you have to change what you're doing. If you want to change what you're doing, you have to change what you believe. Because the reason you do what you do is you believe what you believe. Your belief system causes your choices and actions. So if you want to change what you're getting, you got to change what you're doing. If you want to change what you're doing, you have to change your beliefs. So how do you change your beliefs, dude? There's only one way to change a belief. Do you know what that one way is? There's only one way.
You gotta switch it up. I'm curious to know. Like, you gotta do something different.
No. You're never going to do something different until you have a new belief, dude. You change your actions by changing your beliefs. You change someone's behavior by changing their beliefs. You can punish them. You can hold them accountable. Dude, that doesn't change them, man. You got to change them.
What changes them?
You got to change their belief. Now, the question is, do you know how to change a belief? There's only one way.
Break down the way, Brad. You got to break down the way. You let us.
I'm checking you didn't know, dog, because I got to verify. Because man, I'm gonna give you a freaking nugget where this will change your life.
Let's get it.
You change your belief by getting new information. Period. That's the only way. Like, let's say you believed I was funny, and then you talked to me, and I wasn't that funny, and now you're like, dude, that dude wasn't that funny. What changed your belief? You're gonna be like, I talked to him. Okay, that's new information. You got new information, didn't you?
That's facts. That's facts.
Okay, so I never believed in God. Now something happened where I believe in God. What made you change your belief? Well, this happened. Well, that's new information. You got new information, dude. That's the only way to change your beliefs is to change your information. If you don't get any new information, you're not going to have any new beliefs. It's impossible. Your beliefs are your beliefs until you get new information that will change them. And there's some people that even with new information, they refuse to change their beliefs. And that's what you call closed-minded. So you want to be successful, dude. Open your mind and close your mouth, not open your mouth and close your mind. Okay, so there's the difference there. But ultimately, dude, you just get new information. Well, where do you get new information? Hit replay and go over those books I just talked about. And when you run out of those, dude, there's crazy things called libraries. There's books filled with biographies, and there's filled history and freaking human behavior, and like you can't get enough information, dog. It's so much. You listen, the more I learn how much I need to learn. Like, in other words, we don't know shit. So read every single day, man. I got this thing called the $1 Million Morning. Okay, you wake up with the gratitude of getting $1 million cash.
Okay.
Because what would you rather have, $1 million or you want to wake up tomorrow?
I'd rather wake up tomorrow, man. You don't wake up, you ain't got the $1 million.
There you go. So guess what? If I said I'll give you $1 million, how would you feel? You feel
good.
pumped up, excited, relieved,
like
man. Woo! You're all pumped up, right?
Yeah, that's ready.
But if I said I'll give you $1 million, but you can't wake up tomorrow, you say no. I'd rather wake up tomorrow.
I'd rather wake up.
Okay, so waking up is more valuable than $1 million. But when you wake up, how come you don't feel as pumped up and excited and enthusiastic and appreciative and grateful? And why don't you hit the day with that kind of enthusiasm? You just got something more valuable than $1 million, dude. And you're sitting there wondering and bitching and complaining and dreading and complaining and like, dude, you just got life, bro. Get your ass out of bed with that kind of gratitude. That's why I call it the $1 Million Morning. So you wake up as if you got more than $1 million, and you feel that instantly when you wake up, and now you start running after the day like a son of a bitch. Totally different perspective, totally different mindset. So now you just make sure that before you leave your door, before you do anything, you focus on 4 key areas. Your health, because without that, you're screwed, dude. What does it mean by focus? Dude, spend 30 minutes getting your blood pumping. You can't afford a gym? No problem. Just do, lunges, like whatever. Eat right one time, drink enough water in the morning, like get hydrated, just focus on your health for 30 minutes, dog. It ain't that difficult. Okay, now, but by the way, this is before anything. Don't check your social media. Don't check your email. Get up, be grateful as hell, focus on your health for 30 minutes, focus on your relationship, which is simply, who am I going to reach out to today and tell them I appreciate them? Pick 5 people every single day. Send them a text. Send them a FaceTime. Send them a selfie. Send them an email. Dude, trust me. You focus on a relationship, it'll grow. It'll build. You want to build relationships. So you do that every morning. And then you focus on your money, which is simply, what do I got to do today to drive revenue? So make sure that there's one thing you can do today that you know will drive revenue, and make sure you do that before you go to sleep. So you've got your money focused on. What you focus on grows, and what you ignore dies. So every morning you're focusing on that money. And then the 4th one is seek knowledge. Open a book for 10 pages. Like, it's like, why you got time? Dude, you ain't got time. Get up earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, quit making excuses. You either want to freaking do it or you don't. Either take off the jersey or get in the game.
Whew. Yeah, you coming with the word.
So everybody that applies this $1 Million Morning on a regular basis, dude, they'll go so far they won't even imagine how far that will get them just all by itself. And then once they start applying the $1 Million Morning consistently over 90 to 180 days, they start to realize, holy shit, this isn't rocket science. This ain't complicated. Like, holy shit, this is not freaking hard to do. There's clues everywhere. Everybody's telling everybody else how to be successful. How much of it's true? How much of it's not true? Well, folks, follow me on Instagram. Everything I say is true. Everything I say is tested. Everything I say is battle tested.
War ready. Listen. People right now, they're getting all this knowledge from you, Brad. Like, where can people? I want to make sure that people are like, you know what, Shawn? Where can I find this guy? What are like all the social media platforms before we get out of here today? Because you drop so many bombs, as you would say. Where can they find you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm everywhere, dude. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of them. Just look for Brad Lea. That's spelled Lea, or as I'm being touted, the real Brad Lea. That's the handle, the real Brad Lea. That's pretty much everywhere, the real Brad Lea. And I'm verified, so like you can tell which one's me because there's a blue check mark.
Hey, that's official, bro.
I called my buddies one day and I said, hey, dude, have you found a check mark laying around? They're like, no. And I'm like, oh, I found it. Here it is, right by my name, dog.
Stamp of approval. You heard it, yo, from a guy who is obviously, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to back him up on it because he said he has all the facts. He is the #1 closer, even on Mars, Brad Lea, bro. We appreciate you so much for stopping by the podcast.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Already. And guys, for those of you who have been listening, always remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it.